Hi, I'm Carrie Stevenson. I'm the instructor for this course and just wanted to make a quick video to introduce myself and to walk you through the course. If you've taken a class on Canvas before, you might already be familiar with Canvas. And even if you have, I still encourage you to just spend a few minutes with me to walk through this because every instructor sets up their course a little bit differently. If you've never taken a class in Canvas before, I've included some links right here on the homepage that will walk you through some more specific detail about navigating Canvas. But let's just walk through this course so you can see how I've laid everything out. Right here on the homepage, you'll see the course calendar. So everything that we're going to be covering each week is listed right there. So you can see in week 1, we're going to start with the introduction to the class, theories of development, and research methods. You'll be reading chapter 1. I would like for you to introduce yourself on the initial discussion board and then also post to the first discussion by Sunday of week 1. And generally you'll see that the patterns will follow that so that you'll post things by Sunday of each week. Do you have to do your work on Sundays? Nope. No, you don't. If you would like to do your work on Mondays, or maybe you have Wednesdays off and that's when you want to do your work, by all means do that. But I know that some students sometimes need to do their work on the weekends, or they prefer to do their work on the weekends, so that's why I have it due on Sundays. I generally will grade things on Mondays. Occasionally I'll have meetings that will take up a lot of time in the day and that will push it a little bit later, but generally I do grade everything on Mondays. It is important to recognize that I do not accept late discussion posts, so be sure that you do post those by Sunday. And I apologize that my dogs are barking. I do want to draw your attention though to the very last week during final exams. That week will not be on the weekend, so make sure that you plan accordingly. Okay, I'm going to come back up to the top. I want to point out the syllabus. Just click on syllabus and you'll see it listed there. There's information about how to contact me, information about my office hours. I'm always available on email too. And generally I respond within 24 hours, over the weekend about 48. But I typically check my email throughout the day. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the goals and objectives are listed here, and then you'll see where the evaluation is. In this class, we'll be doing discussions each week. As I've already mentioned, towards the end, you'll see that there's going to be a reflection paper so that you can apply the principles that you've learned about in this class to your own life and your own personal development. And then we'll have exams. We'll have unit exams as well as a cumulative final exam. So you'll see some information that's going to be listed out here. I'll let you read that yourself. I know that you're fully capable of reading. But one thing that I want to point out is that when exams are offered, they need to be taken within that time frame. If an emergency comes up, you are sick or something, and you don't think that you'll be able to finish in time, then please send me an email prior to the close of the testing window, and then I can extend that time. But if you don't make arrangements before the window closes, then makeup exams are not offered. If you need additional time as determined through the Office of Disability Services, please let me know that ahead of time, and please send me an email before each exam just to make sure that that I have added the extra time for you. There's some course policies that are listed there as well. Again, I'm going to let you read that on your own. And there's also some information about college resources there. Also on the syllabus, we've got that course calendar that I just referred to that's also on the home page. I do recommend that you print off the syllabus. I email it out as well, so you might find it's easier to print from that file. But it's a good idea to enter in the due dates into like your phone system or a personal calendaring system that you might have. Enter in the due dates so that you're not missing them. And then anytime that there's an exam or a paper that's due, give yourself a week's heads up too, so that a week before that, say reminder, exam due next Sunday or something like that, so that you're giving yourself a week's notice to prepare for that exam or to write the paper. I would say that missing due dates is probably the #1 challenge that students face with an online course. Online courses are wonderful in terms of the flexibility that they offer, but as an independent learner, you've got to stay on top of the due dates and make sure that you're not missing them. So get yourself a calendaring system and stay on top of those due dates. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home page just to show you something else too. Oftentimes things will pop up here as a to-do list and it'll tell you when things are due and tell you when exams are coming. I'm going to give you a caveat though, just a warning. I don't know why, but sometimes in the past, Canvas has just like magically changed some dates here. I don't know how it happens and I don't know why it has happened. So that's why I tell students that this syllabus, this course calendar from the syllabus is the default. This is what we're going by. So if something changes over here, if Canvas acts up again and changes something, remember that if it's on the syllabus, that is the due date. Okay, so I would say don't really rely on this. It's nice to have that there, but really check the syllabus and the course calendar there. Okay. I'm going to go to the modules page. This is my preference in walking through the course. I do want to point out that I'm doing this on a computer. So if you are on an iPad or you're on your phone, it might look a little bit different. So just keep that in mind. So I've set up the course so that it kind of forces you to go through the modules page. I really prefer that you do it that way, and I'll explain why in a little bit. This first module, I just wanted to point out, I've kind of reformatted the syllabus a little bit. I get it. Instructors are always telling you guys, read the syllabus, and I really strongly encourage that you do, but we recognize that not everybody does. And so I've tried to chunk it up a little bit more to make it a little bit easier to read through it when you have specific questions. So you'll see that the syllabus has been reformatted here, kind of like as an FAQ type of style. So I wanted to point that out to you. This is where I'd like for you to spend a little bit of time in this first week. Go through the welcome page here, in which I'll explain a little bit more about my philosophy in teaching and a little bit more about the course. There's some FAQs there too that I recommend that you read. I would say about 90% of the questions that I get within the first 2 weeks of the course could have been answered right here in the welcome page, the FAQs and the syllabus. So if you take a little bit of time to take a look at the resources that I've already provided, you'll probably find the answers there. And then I'd like for you to take a couple minutes to introduce yourself so that we can get to know each other within the class. You'll see I've already kind of started that off and said a little bit about myself. And to show you how to post, it's really easy. You just click on reply, type your information right there, and then you'll click on post reply, and then you'll see it pop up. If someone has posted something and you would like to respond to them, maybe they're interested in something that you have an interest in too, and you want to say, hey, I like that too. You would just go right underneath their post and you'll see a button similarly that will say reply right underneath them. Click on that. Another box will open up that looks just like this. You'll click post reply, and then that will post right underneath them. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to the modules page, and then I just want to show you what a typical week will look like. I have included the PowerPoint just the PowerPoint for each chapter. Some students like to have the chapter laid out as a PowerPoint because it might help in note taking. This does not mean that it is in lieu of reading the textbook. The textbook is so important to put together all of the different ideas that we're talking about and all of the different concepts, particularly when it's an online course and we're not meeting face-to-face. For me to elaborate on the different concepts, it's absolutely vital that you read the chapter. And then the PowerPoints, again, are there to, to help you in just kind of organizing the chapter for you. You'll often see that I'll include videos. Sometimes I'll include journal articles or just extra content that will explain a concept a little bit more thoroughly. I typically will include some practice quizzes in case you'd like to have a little bit of practice. I know that it says that there's 10 points there. That doesn't actually go into the gradebook though. It just means that there's 10 questions on that practice quiz. Now here's the assignment that you'll have for the week. Almost each week. There's going to be, I think, just one exception, but you'll see that you'll respond to one discussion question by Sunday of that week. I do recommend that you look at both of them and that you think about how would you respond to that if you were to respond to the other one that you haven't chosen. You only need to respond to one, but again, look at the other one and think about how would you respond to that. Because both of those questions are important, and it'll help you think through the material as you get ready for the exam. And more importantly, it helps you to think through the material that you might need later, in your life or in your career. So you'll see for the second week, it's laid out in a very similar way. There are 2 chapters that we'll be going through there. So I've got 2 different PowerPoints there. You'll see that there's a link to a film. We've got a couple videos actually here. Again, we've got another practice quiz, and then we've got a couple other discussion questions that you'll select from. I'm going to go down a little bit more so you can see what it looks like when we have an exam. The exams will pop up in a separate module. And again, those are open for a specified window, so be sure that you plan accordingly and take it sometime within that window, okay? I think that's about all of the information that I wanted to make sure that I covered at the very beginning. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out through email, or you can give me a call. Thanks, have a great class.